children. I will always say City of Hope, but it's City of Children. But get these, and what you do is you take them, and this one says $10. And what you do is you take $10 or any amount above and beyond, and it's kind of like, well, Todd, would you like to demonstrate putting money into this?
Yes.
You get these, and you put money into them and give them to Gilda or to Brandon. Okay? So, we are back in the empowering words of Jesus, 10:43. You know, the preacher really didn't go long today. He really didn't. That song leader. It was good today.
I think it was all the Eagles talk.
The Eagles and Chiefs people. Richard told me he counted today and we had like 151, which is pretty good. Rhonda had how many children? She said 7. Couldn't hear what she said. 7. That is great. Say again?
3 are absent.
And 3 of our regulars were absent.
So would have had 10.
Yeah.
Great.
So, you know, if we pray to God and ask God for things and send children and families and all, we got to be prepared for it. I'm a firm believer, if you're going to pray for rain, you better leave home with an umbrella. And if we're going to pray for children and young families and all, we better be prepared for them. And you know what? We are. We are so excited, happy, excited about that. So with our class today, getting back to the empowering words of Jesus, a couple of questions to start us off. We can turn this on. And first one is, where in the culture do you see an absence of ethical standards and morality? Television?
Everywhere.
Okay, everywhere doesn't count. You got to come up with something specific, like, you know, somebody's house. Or I was over at Coonfields.
Television commercials.
Television commercials, books, yeah. Absence of ethical standards and morality. We're going to look at this a little bit because whereas you think, well, we see the same about ethical standards and morality, unfortunately, our society does not. Whereas those of us in here today, we probably are pretty much along the same lines of what is moral and what is ethical. But in our society at large, no, it would be a lot different. And then if you just throw in other cultures and all like that, it's going to be different. So we see things in TV shows, commercials, books, magazines.
FDA.
Say again?
FDA and CDC.
FDA and CDC? Okay.
It's in high school, and kids just, they're not taught. They don't know. They don't know the Bible stories. They don't know. They don't know anymore. So they're not being taught at home. So all of this that we're talking about, they don't even notice.
They don't necessarily have a basis for an ethical standard or basis for morality then, right? The living morally, having that moral standard. And then in the absence of cultural norms, then how do people decide what's right and wrong? I mean, for the most part, probably most of us were taught right from wrong at an early age growing up by our parents or maybe siblings or Bible school teachers, church, whatever. But, you know, in the absence of cultural norms, you know, what is the norm for this culture? How do people then decide what is right and what is wrong?
A lot of times it's on the raising of a child that we're not taught. We don't grow up from the raising, you know, as a little child in the nursery, you learn to share, to be fair. Later on in life, you learn that life isn't the nursery. Life isn't fair. We got to accept and have to learn mercy on top of that. But people get stuck in what they learned in their nursery days and don't grow up.
Yeah.
Is that understandable?
I think I know what you mean. And life isn't fair. And, you know, while we try to teach our children to be fair, we also need to teach them that life isn't fair. And, you know, you can't go through life just living a life of self-pity because something wasn't fair. I've known of people that haven't let go of things that happened to them that weren't fair 30 years ago. You're only hurting yourself doing that. Life isn't fair. So, did all of you get a handout, by the way? Do we need to make any more copies? Okay. Many are saying 21st century, we're facing a crisis of ethics. The moral standards, many taken for granted, now seem to be ignored, even mocked by popular culture. The definition of family, the understanding of sexual morality, the openness of alternative lifestyles, all seem to indicate we've lost our sensibilities and our certainty about what is right and what is wrong. We not only see the erosion of moral standards and the obsession with sensualism, but the growth of violence and the absence of personal honesty and responsibility. Doing the right thing. I'll tell you something funny happened to me. I ordered something from Amazon a couple of weeks ago. It was a trickle charger for my battery on my boat. How you say that? Okay. So I ordered this, and it came, and I go on Amazon to see where it is, where it's delivered from, when I'm going to be getting it, and all. I don't know if any of you ever do that. But, I order stuff from Amazon just so I can watch where things are in the United States. But I ordered this trickle charger, and it came in, it was delivered. Well, anyway, it popped up and sent me an email from Amazon saying your delivery's been delayed. I'm like, delayed? I got it right here. And so after a couple of days, they said, well, you can apply, get a refund for your money now because something happened. What happened was when we came through the U.S. Postal Service and they have the barcode, the guy clicks on it, it's been delivered, and he puts it in the mailbox. He apparently did not do that, or there was a glitch in the system or something. And I thought about that. The trickle charger wasn't much, $20, $25, maybe $30. But I could have applied to Amazon and gotten a full refund and had the trickle charger. Now, $30, who'd do that for $30? What if it had been $3,000 or $10,000? Well, they probably have other protocols for dropping things off with that much. But I got to thinking about it. I said, well, you know, I told Ron about it. I said, you know, if I didn't have any morals or ethics or responsibility of knowing what is right or wrong, I could easily have done that and got my money back.
And it's done every day.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. That's actually not the very first thing I've ever gotten from Amazon that showed it wasn't delivered. And I wonder how many people actually do that. A friend of ours received some Apple iPods, earpods. About how much do authentic Apple earpods cost? Earbuds. Couple hundred bucks. She had ordered something from Amazon, and what she purchased was like $10, $15. She got the box in, and she opened it up. What she had ordered? It was original Apple earbuds. She said, "Oh boy, I know this is worth way more than $10." And she could have just kept it, but she did the right thing. She contacted Amazon, talked to them, told them there was a mess up and all. And you know what they told her? They said, keep it. And to them, it's probably bazillion multi-million-dollar company like them, it's easier for her, easier for them, at least less costly, just to keep it, and we'll send you what you ordered. And they did, but she did the right thing, which was notifying them, even though she received something worth a lot more than what she had ordered. But many today are not taught to do the right thing, the ethical thing. That's one of the things that we did find in the military, dealing with some of our young airmen, was they were coming to the military and they didn't really have that sense of right and wrong and the morality and the ethics and they were coming in, and we were literally having to teach them morals and ethics. Wow. Why was this not taught at home? So, our code of ethics has so eroded, many have become cynical about morality or suggest it's useless to even try and discover the right and good way to live. We, as human beings, need guidance on how we should live. We need to be able to understand, articulate what real life is, and principles people ought to be following. In our current social context, with moral standards and norms deteriorating and breaking down, we're in special need of this guidance. So the question I asked earlier, how do people decide what is right and wrong if there are no cultural norms? We go to Judges 21:25. People of Israel here, they had no king or leader. And in Judges 21:25, everyone did as he saw fit. That was their ethical way of living. I just do as I see fit. So in the past, most cultural institutions found themselves agreeing on accepted standards of morality. The common sanctions of society encouraged most people to follow them. Yet today, there's little agreement about what is right, and we hesitate to sanction those who break whatever rules are present. If you have any comments, you're welcome to speak up. In this setting, we're truly engaged in a struggle to determine what is right and true and good. And yet when we struggle and grapple with how to live, Jesus does speak empowering words to us. So the continuing struggle goes back to the beginnings of humankind. Genesis chapter 2, 16 and 17, Adam and Eve lived in paradise in Eden. With only one restriction. You're free to eat from the tree of the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. When you eat of it, you will surely die. Wow, it's difficult to imagine what life was like for them. And only this one sanctioned constraint, don't do this one thing, life's going to be good. There was freedom there without struggle for them, contentment without pressure, making choices without consequent questioning and anxiety. Just don't do this one thing. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't touch that. At this point, humanity had no real struggle with knowing how to live, for they had only one decision to make. Whether to do what God said or not. That was it. Everything else was wonderful. But then came the fall. And Adam and Eve sinned. Their lives were thrown into emotional disarray and moral confusion. They now have knowledge of good and evil, but that knowledge was incomplete. Cast out of the garden, cast out of the presence of God, humanity lost its source and its anchor to what is right. With this expulsion, struggle to know how to live immediately grew more challenging and complicated. Adam and his descendants must now seek answers to questions of right and wrong. And even when they determine what is right, they must choose whether to do it or not. Humanity's been wrestling with this struggle involving these two decisions to this day. So, the ethical struggle today. Certain societal realities seem to make the struggle more difficult and confusing in present times. Today's moral questions seem to be more complex and confusing. In modern society, we have to deal with ethical issues and moral dilemmas never encountered before. For example, transgenderism. Let me just change the sex that I am because I have decided I no longer want to be a male and going to get sex change. You might say, yeah, but that's those people out there. No, it's happening, and even within our churches. I'm friends with a Christian couple, have 2 children, boy and a girl. Now they got a girl and girl. My personal thought is, no, that's not right to do that. They have changed their thoughts on it to where, well, it's okay. Brings up other ethical questions like their son was having some issues and even had some suicidal ideations. He was asking me, would you rather have a dead son or a live daughter? Okay. I mean, these are difficult things. Yes, I would rather have a live daughter. I'd rather have a live son who was okay within himself. Never hate. Don't hate people. Never hate. I might not like certain lifestyles, but you still love people. They are created in the image of God. No matter what they do, they change their sex, they change whatever, you still love people. Those are things that Christian people have to deal with because that stuff gets closer to home all the time. And you wait, more than likely, some of this stuff will hit home for you and your personal family or sibling or niece or nephew or something like that. But every society has always had new ethical issues to confront. So today, yeah, it is who we are sexually. That's just one of them. There's actually a lot more. Yesterday, it was embryonic research and genetic manipulation. This was not really before my time, but right there around it, a few years after I was born, but birth control. Birth control. Some of you might remember that was a big societal question about that. So, a lot of different moral questions that to us as Christians, while it might not hit us right away close to home, I pretty much promise you at some point it probably will. It probably will. The pluralistic culture advocates tolerance and acceptance of diverse points of view. Our culture has become less uniform and more diverse in its ethnic, religious, and ethical expressions. Pluralistic society, by its very nature, presents many kinds of values, traditions, lifestyles, and encourages recognition of them all. In the midst of this diversity, many affirm that no one has a right to sit in judgment of anyone's values or manner of life.
And we accepted that.
If you look at my notes,
No, we didn't
because I actually have that in.
We didn't stand up and say no.
Those who don't, those who advocate absolute moral standards are often considered narrow-minded.
bigoted.
right-wing, whatever it might be.
And a lot of this, not a lot of it, a whole lot of it, is happening to our children in the school system. How does a 4 or 5-year-old child understand sexuality? It's what they're being taught, in my opinion.
The values, also personal freedom and individual choice become paramount. You know, in a society that elevates personal liberty, it's assumed that freedom from restraint leads to self-discovery and personal happiness. But we believe that the fewer restrictions we have, better in life, but in reality, fewer restrictions means little direction. We do as we choose. Have any of you seen that meme, and I should put it up here, about the shopping cart and what it tells you about a society? Anna, you say you saw it, where a shopping cart, you go to the grocery store, you take it out, and you unload your groceries. Well, the shopping cart, you can leave right there, behind somebody's car. You know what? You're not going to jail. You're not really going to be in any trouble. You can leave it there. You just push it to the side, put it wherever. It doesn't matter. But it says a lot about a person in a society that takes their shopping cart then and takes it back to the shopping cart corral, or all the way back up to the store. But for the person, you know, with personal freedom, and you're in no trouble, you're not going to jail, you won't be fined, you won't get a ticket, you can leave your cart wherever you want to. You should take it back. I know when we lived in Wyoming, now the winds out there, you know, we get high winds around here, but out there, gusting to 50 miles an hour was not uncommon. And you learned to live with it. You just didn't leave stuff laying around that was going to be off and gone. Shopping carts, for instance, man, you leave those in a parking lot, they can do some real damage to someone's vehicle. So naturally, people put their shopping carts back. No, they didn't. They didn't. Even there, nobody could damage somebody's car because of the winds. They would still not put them back.
If you have some time and you want to laugh, go to YouTube and look up the park guard. It's a guy that stands out in the parking lot and he shames people who put their car back. Pretty funny.
Janet does the local version. But you go to Walmart, just watch her.
Well, I always put my card out. I mean, and that meme went on to say, unless it's a personal emergency, you're leaving a child in the car screaming. Okay, you know, I mean, there are exceptions to that. But for the most part, people do not take their carts back. Now, like at Home Depot, that was kind of aggravating because they don't have any like corrals there. You have to take it all the way back up. And I'm like, man, Rhonda, take this back up. I know, I take it back. But usually at places, and I've even grabbed several carts before people leave out there, just because it's the right thing to do. That's virtue signaling, isn't it? I pat myself on the back. I'm so good. No, I think it's the right thing to do. That goes along with this, so where you don't get in any trouble, no fine, no ticket, no nothing. Nothing's going to happen to you. You won't be banned from the store. How many people take the cart back? Now, I've guilted all of you non-cart taker backers so much now. I said, I'm going to take the cart back. This preacher said so. Where?
To look that up, just Google shopping cart theory. It's actually a whole thing.
You and Wayne don't have anything to do.
It's I think it's very interesting.
I might have to do that, actually. No, I didn't know there were YouTube videos about that.
It's funny because I pay attention to this because obviously, I don't want shame within my own family.
The look on Jana's face says it all.
But I actually have been surprised lately, noticing how many people do push their carts back. And it actually makes me feel good about society, because there are a lot of people who push their carts back. And I love watching them and knowing that they're not gonna get shamed when we drive by. So,
I like to see how far I can get back and push my cart hard enough to see if I go into that big corral.
So you like damaging things.
Well, I have to try not to damage anything. Kind of like, butt with a golf cart.
You're a hoot to be around.
Moving right along.
So the advocates of certainty have become silent. When those who advocate an absolute basis for morality are censored and criticized, then the one essential and necessary voice finds itself in retreat. We become so fearful of criticism, so tired of disapproval, we become tolerant when we should be outraged and silent when we ought to be speaking. Yes, Sherry.
Sir, numbers don't lie. Does anybody know what the number one box office movie was on Thursday, Friday, and yesterday? The Chosen TV series
Nice.
was the number one box office draw. But here's what happened. Apparently, the Christians like going to the movies for 3 days. Media did not like that. And they lied about the box office numbers. Getting to your point, sir. The moral majority was kept silent. Until, of course, some of the chosen army saw this, posted it on social media, and our director, Dallas Jenkins, had to come in and go, hey, y'all, chill out. We don't care about numbers. Thank you for coming to watch the movie. Let's move on. But it was like this thing because it was the number one box office draw over anything, and we said, no. I'm just saying, so they were already trying to keep us silent about a movie. What are they going to keep us silent about real stuff?
Thank you, Sherry.
You're welcome.
Okay, so, yes, Jim.
Just a word of warning, when you're out there talking to people about their carts, be careful. I had a guy talk to me one day about my background and my mother when I asked him why he didn't put his cart back.
Now,
So
let
you
me go back to
gotta,
my sermon today about choosing your words. How I would have said that is, sir, may I carry your cart over to the corral?
well, that's what's happened to our society. I mean, years ago, he'd have just said, blah, 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 but now they'll pull a gun on you.
That is true. That is true. Another reason to be cautious with people because of ethics, morality, things such as that. Someone will get mad and shoot you.
Well, you better be quick.
You better be quick. Okay.
That does bring up a good question, though, is if being honest hurts someone, should you still be honest? If it hurts their feelings or it hurts them in some other way, maybe cause them to lose their job, or should you still be honest?
He didn't say be honest, he said choose your words carefully.
I don't know, because that's an ethic. We're talking ethics.
I've told people putting their carts where they should before. I say, here, I'm going to, I'll take that, or I'm going inside, let me have your cart. I think it's almost a soft touch. Maybe they feel bad about being caught, that they were leaving their cart there, or on the side or by somebody's car or whatever, such as that. But just simply, here, let me take the cart.
I I've been taking my cart back and somebody come along and say, I'll take it for you.
I do that all the time.
Yeah, I've
I'm
done
going down
that.
that way anyway.
Yeah.
I'm trying to shame you.
Well, that's probably not. I mean, if you're pushing it back or whatever, and they come and get it, I don't think that's shaming you. But if I can clearly see they're putting it up on the grass because they don't want to take it to the corral, then, you know, I'll go ahead and get it from, if they're pushing it back, yeah, I'll grab it from them before too. One of the things I do just to alleviate that is when I get in the store, I try to park close to the cart corral anyway, no one comes out. They might as well get there close to it, except at Lowe's. You gotta push it all the way back up there. So,
Lowe's has car corrals everywhere.
did I say Lowe's?
Yeah.
I meant Home Depot.
Yeah.
Home Depot does not.
This is probably sold out for that.
Home Depot has them?
Yeah.
They do, but they don't replace them when they're damaged.
I haven't seen them out there. Have y'all seen them out there?
Those of us that replace our carts.
Yes.
Well, I take mine all the way back up there, and I think y'all lying about that too. We are going by Home Depot, man, I'm gonna see. I'll take pictures.
It's out in front of the garden center.
No,
That's gonna be on the test.
So, well,
Moving right along. It's
What
11:13.
what was the sermon about?
I don't think there's. Okay, so let's press on, guys. Y'all have totally sidetracked me. So, upon what basis is basis for morality, follow beliefs, assumptions, and majority? We do that, we're gonna be just following whatever's accepted by the culture. And then that can be, I mean, think of Nazi Germany. Think of slavery in America, things such as that. So, no, we want to just follow the beliefs and assumptions of the majority. Try to determine what provides the most good for most people. We can make moral decisions based on outcomes and consequences. Are you willing to justify an action as long as the result is good? This is the essence of the debate that comes up when we would catch bad guys in Iraq and Afghanistan and we wanted them to tell us stuff that can save lives. Is torture acceptable? Is waterboarding acceptable? Is doing things to them, is that acceptable? Because, you know, if we find that information out, we can save a lot of American lives. So, you know, is our moral decision based on outcomes and consequences? And as a basis of policy for the United States military, we do not torture. We can choose on the basis of what gives comfort and pleasure. You know, whatever feels good, do it. Very self-centered right there. We can assume that there are no moral directions for life, and we can abandon the search totally. In the 60s and 70s, many believed that morality was relative, that what was right or wrong depended on circumstances. 80s and 90s, many assumed that whatever gave comfort, pleasure was right, good, and justified greed. So who can we turn to for the direction on how to live? Well, help in that can come through a lot of different sources. I think I have those written out for you. We can go to the halls of academia. We can poll citizens of the culture. We can study wise men of the ages. We can model the example of popular success. We can listen to the gurus of self-help. We can assign a task to the national government. We can look deeply within ourselves.
Was that a misprint?
I'm sorry?
That last one, number 6, was that a misprint?
No. I'm just saying we can do these things. Perhaps all of the above, because look what I put there in bold letters and I underlined it because I figured y'all think, well, you don't know what he's talking about. We keep doing all those things. That'd be crazy. Perhaps all of the above can provide help in a limited way, but we still need a more firm basis for certainty. What we require is a source that transcends the ages, that's also relevant to the moment, one that offers confidence. True source, right here, as always, is Jesus, for our basis of what is right and what is wrong. He has empowering words for us. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Did y'all fill in that one already on your thing?
Yeah.
I was going to see if I tripped y'all up on that one. I figured that would be easy. You not filling this out, huh?
I don't like to write.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta hurry up here. Jesus speaks, saying some very profound things in these words. He speaks teaching, truth, and freedom in John 8, 31 through 32. True disciples knowing, who hold to his teaching, knowing that the truth will set them free. Jesus is all about the truth, and we can always rely upon Jesus for that basis for what is right and what is wrong. And the very basis of that truth is loving people regardless. I can't say that enough. I don't agree with people's personal choices oftentimes, or lifestyles or whatever, but I am still taught to love people regardless, even if I don't agree with them. And Jesus says, heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. Luke 21, of course, Jesus' discourse about the end of the age. Now, in Luke 21, trying to remember something here. So that is the destruction of Jerusalem there in AD 70. This was written probably 40 years prior to that. But in one rendering of it, it's talking about babies ripped from their mother's arms, all kinds of bad things, being dashed upon the rocks. I had a lady come in who had a brand new baby, a newborn, see me one time. She was in tears, and she just started reading her Bible. Well, she read that, and she read it as prophecy for right now, that this is going to be happening soon. She was scared to death. And what she was reading was the destruction of Jerusalem in 87. And, she was in tears. I had to calm her down. In my office, it was like, I said, she told me what was upset with her. She read that passage to me, and we read it. And I said, okay. I said, so let me calm you down. I said, that's already happened. She said, what? I said, yeah, that happened a lot of years ago. And I said, that's what was going on right then. And I said, so don't worry. However, I didn't share with her other passages in Revelation, different things for tribulation and all kinds of other stuff.
It's called choosing your words wisely.
Yes, it was. I said, let's get past this hump here. Let me skip ahead here a little bit. So, Jesus' words here. Jesus' words then when we struggle with how to live, because so much is going on around us that it can make us fearful, scared, and wonder where our society is going. Ron and I were watching a show on TV the other day, and it's very common now that not only are people gay, but throw it in your face. And two men kissing, two women kissing, all that goes on. A lot of times they wait till about the third or fourth episode of the series to get to that point. You're involved in it now. You enjoy the storyline. It's been going okay. And all of a sudden, all of this is going on. And then the bad guys are the ones who look down, the narrow-minded, Bible thumpers. They make them look really good in these shows. Well, they're just narrow-minded. They need to get with the times that this is okay now. There was a time where, if you're familiar with the Diagnostic Statistical Manual for Mental Health Disorders, DSM, that's what it's called. I have a DSM-4, there's now a DSM-5. In DSM-3, homosexuality was a mental disorder. But then as society changed, it wasn't. Now it's embraced, and next we're going to be required to be part of it.
Yes.
But, you know, you still love these people. I don't agree with them, but I'm going to love them, and I can love them. And I have friends that I disagree with that are gay and lesbian. I'm still going to love them. You know what? I'm going to invite them to church too, and I have. Because I love them. Because I love them. So, Jesus speaks these words. Listen to me, you'll learn how to live. Yeah, that's what he's saying. We see that quite a few times in his teachings. You no longer have to be confused about life. My words will set you free. Yeah. My words transcend time and will remain to all generations. My teaching and message are more enduring than the physical universe. These are things that we are taught by Christ. It's what we're taught. No matter what is happening, what's going on in the world, it does not matter. Jesus is still king. We don't need to forget that. So however much bad we see, he's still king.
And in control.
Absolutely. All right. So, went over again, didn't I? Not as bad as last week. So, questions? No?
It's not a question, but it's a statement. The things that we're talking about this morning. When I was a young lady, 100 years ago, these things were whispered. I mean, you talked about this, and now, like you said, it's advertised.
Shouted from the rooftops.
Yes, and what happens is it starts out very, very slow, very gradual, and then just keeps slipping a little in, and then one day you look around and say, oh, you know, it's out in the open now. Everybody's doing it. Everybody knows about it, and it's no longer whispered anymore.
Desensitization is a tool of the devil used over time, over millennia.
Hey, Gary, I think there's more to it than just we are kind of desensitized. Because there could be some medical reasons why people are that way, because it's pretty prevalent.
What are you talking about, transgender stuff?
Yeah. I think there's some theories on it. Some of them are saying that when you inject people with DNA from the opposite sex, it could over a long period of time, could affect cause gender confusion. And so there's just a lot of, there could be some medical issues or medical things that we've accepted, or even maybe some foods that we eat that have certain things in them that cause people to have different, it actually changes their biological being. And so I really think that there needs to be more investigation into maybe what's causing it than just blame it on the fact that Christians aren't doing their job. Because that's what it comes down to. If there's more sin in the world, it's the Christian's fault. Because we are the ones who have been given the word to spread. And if we're not doing that, it's essentially our fault.
My statement has nothing to do with blaming.
I like homemaker statement.
Okay.
Wayne, donuts are fine.
There might be something in them.
Y'all watch your words in here.
I thought about it a long time whether I should say anything.
Now you
I
did.
didn't think.
Now you lied. I'm blessed. That's what. Go ahead, Jessica. Well, Anna, go ahead.
We also see there's a lot more precocious puberty where children are starting puberty like 7, 8, 9, and it probably is.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
something else, something going on that we are not seeing or not aware of.
I mean, Reese takes a shot at prolonged puberty because she was 7 and was gonna. So like she takes a shot every 6 months, pushes it back, but she would have stopped growing. You know, like it is I don't know if it's smells in food, I don't know, but
Yeah, okay. Jesse, could you have your hand up?
People do things too because it's popular, they get attention. So a lot of people choose some of these things, because it gets them attention, whether it's negative or positive. I work with transgender inmates, so, it gets them different attention. Like, I do sometimes think, I wonder what this is. And when they get a wet, like when they are stuff, like if they'll look back.
When's that inmate getting out that you fell in love with? Just kidding.
That was not nice.
Don't throw my sermon back on me, buddy. Any other thoughts before we are dismissed? Yes, Barbara?
I just talked to my dad on the phone,
Okay.
and I told him that everybody was praying for him, and he said, that's why I feel so good.
Bless his
And
heart.
then he said, thank you.
Good,
Thank you.
good. Great to hear. Thank you, Barbara. Keep us up to date on that, okay? All right. Thanks for being here, and we will see you guys next week. Wednesday.